của Đại học Khoa Công nghệ Sinh học và trường Đại học UV thì chúng tôi có đào tạo chương trình gọi là Apply Biomedical Science. 4 năm chúng tôi dạy ở đây là trường Đại học West of England cấp bằng, và West of England là một trong những cái 10 top trường của top 10 của nước Anh, và chúng tôi cũng rất vinh dự là trường Đại học Việt Nam đầu tiên được giảng dạy công nghệ và một trường đại học có tiếng của Anh các bạn. Cho nên hôm nay chúng tôi muốn mời cô Bahareh để nói về vấn đề giảng dạy sinh học và nghiên cứu sinh học trong trường đại học của West of England như thế nào để chúng ta lấy kinh nghiệm. Dr. Bahareh, okay, please.
Thank you very much. So my talk is going to be a bit different to the previous talks you had. It's not going to be biotechnology focused. So as Professor Thorne has kindly made an introduction, I'm Bahareh Vahabi. I'm a senior lecturer in physiology at the University of the West of England, and I'm also the international lead for the Department of Applied Sciences. And it's a pleasure being here. Thank you so much for inviting me. Hopefully I can give you a quick oversight and overview of the teaching and the research we do at the University of West of England, and I hope you enjoy my talk. So before I start, I thought I'd just show you where UE is. So University of West of England is located in the city of Bristol, and the city of Bristol is a city in southwest of England. And we've got some beautiful landmarks because we are situated on the River Avon, and we've got some beautiful landmarks such as the Suspension Bridge, which is an iconic landmark for Bristol. We also got the former city port, which is now called the Harbour Side, which is now home to a lot of restaurants and basically museums and so on. And it's a very vibrant and cosmopolitan city, and it's very popular with students because we have a very lively nightlife, especially for students. We also home to various festivals, such as the Balloon Festival that happens yearly, where various companies and institutes send balloons to the sky. So hundreds of balloons are sent to the sky, and it's an international fiesta, and people from all over the world come and see this event. So it's a really nice little city, so I thought I'll just show you where we live. Now, in terms of UE, we are currently have 4 faculties, and this is all about to change as of 1st of September this year. So in 5 days, we're going to change to colleges and schools. So we're going to be tending to 3 colleges, and within each college we'll have various schools. So we're going to have a College of Arts, Technology and Environment, College of Business and Law, and College of Health, Science and Society. And this is where I'm located. So I work at the School of Applied Sciences, currently called the Department of Applied Sciences. And UE runs programs at diplomas, CPDs, undergraduate, postgraduate, and research programs. We have about 30,000 students, 4,000 of which are international students. So we have quite a lot of international students, not just coming to us, but we also have a lot of international students through our partnerships with universities across the world, including the International University of Vietnam. So we have a partnership for various programs. We have quite a lot of partnership with Malaysian universities, Hong Kong, and so on. So we have a lot of international students scattered around the world doing our programs. And the Faculty of Health and Applied Sciences is home to about 10,000 students. So within that faculty, as I said, the School of Health and Social Wellbeing offers degrees in nursing, midwifery, physiotherapy, applied sciences, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. School of Social Sciences offers courses in criminology, social science, and so on. Now, UE is the top the top third in the UK, so we are the 36th university in the UK, based on the Guardian University Guide 2011. Now, we have invested quite a lot of money in our infrastructure lately, and as you can see, we have basically spent millions of pounds in this new building, which is called the engineering building, built to revolutionize how we teach and deliver the engineering programs, and we have some state-of-the-art labs and teaching facilities within this new building. We also home to a health tech hub. Now, you're wondering what the health tech hub is. Basically, companies who produce health technology equipment like biosensors, they have access to this space, which is a health tech hub, where they collaborate with our academics to do prototype testing, product design, and so on. We also got a place called a future space, where students and entrepreneurs who want to start their own businesses have got a space that they come in, and they're given a desk, they're given mentorship by companies, and we help them to take their business idea forward. And some of our students have become very successful business people by working in future space. We also have invested in a new greenhouse, which is a smart greenhouse, allowing us to do research and collaboration with various organizations in terms of diversity and food production, environmental protection, and so on. Now, we also got, as I said, invested in a new film studio. We have a clinic within our Glenside campus to allow students who do optometry to actually test do tests on people. And we have also invested in a new sports facility within our campus. Now, we have a very strong student community, and we have a really nice student union building that allows students to come together, feel like they're part of the community. Every year we select presidents from this student union that represent students in the academic boards and basically are the voice of our students. So students feel like they're part of a community within our university. Now, in terms of the Faculty of Health and Applied Sciences, which is currently the structure that we have until 1st of September, as I said, we have three departments within this, and one of them is called a school actually, and the Department of Applied Sciences is where I work in. And currently, we have various programs that run in the Department of Applied Sciences. So we offer undergraduate programs within forensic, biomedical, biological, environmental sciences. And the reason we do that is because we are a very strong department in terms of sciences, because we believe scientists are the future. So they are the ones who find solutions to problems such as health, food security, advances in criminal justice, and all of that is because we have scientists. So scientists help us to apply their science to find solutions to real-world problems. And we have a very practical approach to our teaching, because we believe students learn by doing. So whether you're doing forensic sciences, environmental science, biomedical science, you're going to be spending a lot of time doing practical work, especially at levels 1 and 2. So these are the undergraduate programs that as I said, we offer within our department. And Biomedical Sciences is one of those programs that I teach on. And we also offer a lot of postgraduate degrees and programs within our department. So MSc Biomedical Science, Transfusion Transplantation, Forensic, Health Technology, which has recently been launched and is very popular to our students, because, especially international students, because it allows students from all different backgrounds to come and do an MSc in the field of health technology, developing new technologies for detection of diseases and diagnosis, and basically, we work with artificial intelligence and so on. So it's becoming a very popular program with our international students. Sorry, I'll just skip through. So these are some of the postgraduate programs that we offer in our department, and we have a very interesting approach to our teaching. We believe that we have to provide a personalized experience for all learners. So what I mean by personal experience is that students that come to our universities will get an outstanding teaching experience. And the reason is that we don't think that we need to provide a generic approach for all students. We need to have a bespoke, personalized approach for each student for their needs. And what I mean by that is every student is given a bespoke training. So they get coaches and mentors. So that every single person, every student is got a mentor and a coach where we'll give them that pastoral support. We also have a very strong disability services that help students with any disabilities to flourish within our university and feel as included as possible within the teaching. We also try and give our students the international experience. So we really encourage students to go abroad, to do placements abroad, to get that international experience for their future development. We also have a very strong research center within our department, because we believe that research informs our teaching. And we want to basically deal with real world problems. And in order to do that, we have to do research. And our research informs our teaching. So our teaching is very much up to date, trying to address real world problems. And we also have a very strong digitally enabled problem-based education. We use blended learning environments for students. We take a blended learning approach to teach students. We have invested quite a lot in our virtual learning labs and virtual learning education and environment for our students. And we champion teaching excellence. So not only students, but the staff are also supported in order to develop their teaching skills. We encourage staff to do peer-to-peer support. We have a festival of learning where good practice is shared with everyone. Now, Biomedical Science is one of the programs that we offer in our department, and is one of the long-standing programs within our department. And mainly it's designed to focus on health and disease and understanding underlying conditions of different pathological diseases, and trying to find solutions in terms of tackling the disease and finding novel targets. And we offer undergraduate biomedical sciences, which is 3 years, or you can do 4 years as an MSci in biomedical science, where you in the fourth year you do master level learning in terms of biomedical sciences. So you do a bigger research project and a couple of other modules. And you will then graduate with an MSci in Biomedical Science. Now, our Biomedical Sciences is accredited by the Institute of Biomedical Science, which is a professional body that looks after the biomedical sciences and is one of the only few universities within the UK that has got this accreditation, which means students after graduating can then become registered biomedical scientists and work in NHS labs as biomedical scientists. Okay, I'm just going to pass through that. Now, as I said, we have a very practical approach to our teaching because we believe students learn by doing. And we have a lot of, especially international students that come to us as a direct entry students at level 2 and 3, where they've done their undergraduate degree first and second year of their undergraduate degree in various countries, and then they join us at different levels for either biomedical sciences or biological sciences. And as you can see, they spend quite a lot of time in the labs doing practicals, doing experiments, because we believe by doing, you learn. And when you learn how to do experiments and do practical skills, you are then prepared to face the real world. So our students spend quite a lot of time in labs doing experiments and practical sessions, especially at level 1 and 2. And not only our biomedical students spend a lot of time in labs, but we also have forensic students, environmental students, which spend quite a lot of time doing practical skills. So we have a crime house where we protect and kill a student, and then forensic students have to figure out and find clues in terms of understanding who has committed the crime, who's the murderer, and then they have to present their evidence in a mock courtroom. So not only you do practical skills, trying to investigate who has committed the crime in a crime house, you have to then present your evidence in a mock or an example courtroom to try and persuade a jury that this person has committed a crime. So not only they learn practical skills, our students learn how to present evidence and know the law in terms of criminal justice. Our environmental science students spend a lot of time in the field. They do a lot of international trips. So we send students to Cuba, to Canary Islands, and so on, to get them the field experience. So they can, when they finish and they graduate, they have the skills to find the jobs they need and be able to apply their skills to the future employments. We also focus on digital skills for students because we believe that they also need to enhance their digital and contemporary skills. So we have invested quite a lot in a digital technology suite. We have a bioinformatics suite within our department, and also we have a virtual reality world where our forensic students, where our healthcare students do virtual reality. So in terms of quality of teaching, we get fantastic feedback from our examiners, external examiners, and our student satisfaction scores are always high. So for example, this is just an example, environmental science received 96% student satisfaction in the National Student Survey in 2021. And as I said, a lot of our teaching is led by our research. And we have a lot of research centers within our faculty that contribute to our research. So I work within the Center of Research in Biosciences. That is the center that I work in, and I do my research, which I'm going to tell you about it in a minute. So within the Center of Research in Bioscience, we have about 70 academic members and 40 PhD students that work in this center, and we do world-class research. So 87% of our research was world-leading or internationally excellent in the Research Excellence Framework assessment that happens every 4 years, and it was happened in 2022, which found our research to be world recognized or internationally recognized. So we work around 4 themes of research. So we either work on human chronic diseases, so we have quite a lot of world-renowned professors that work on human chronic diseases in our university. So we work on Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's, osteoporosis, diabetes, lower urine tract dysfunction, which is my area of expertise. We also have a lot of our staff and professors that work on cancer genetics and genomics. So we want to understand the genetic cause of cancers, for example, breast cancer, prostate cancer, and so on. So we have a very strong team of researchers within the cancer genetics and genomics field. We also have a group of scientists that work on plant stress and disease, because we believe that we obviously, for food security, we need to understand plant diseases in order to prevent any sort of food disasters in the future. So we have quite a strong team that work on plant stress and disease. And then some of our very famous professors also work in biosensing, diagnostic and analytical science field, where they develop sensors and health tech products for detection of disease and, for example, for application in the environment and so on. So, for example, we have Professor Kevin Honeychurch here, who works on biosensors that can sniff volatile compounds in urine, and from that, from those volatiles, they can detect whether a person is suffering from prostate cancer or not. So these are the type of sensors that are being developed within our research center. As I said, we have a lot of postgraduate students, so we have about 40 PhD students currently doing PhDs in this center. That's just one center, and we have national and international students. We have got a few students actually from Vietnam that came to us from IU and that now currently doing their PhDs within our department. So I thought, whilst I'm here, I might tell you about my own research. So I work on lower urinary tract function and dysfunction, and I am interested in a condition called the overactive bladder. Okay, so what is overactive bladder? And you may think, why am I interested in the bladder? Who cares about the bladder? Actually, bladder is a very important organ, and people who suffer from a condition called overactive bladder have to go to the toilet 8 times a day. They have to get up at night, about a couple of times at night, and they constantly have the urge to go to the toilet when they actually don't need to go. And you might think that's not important, who cares about that? It is actually quite important, because it really affects the quality of life of people who suffer from overactive bladder. Okay, so if you're going to toilet all the time and you have urgency, so you can't stop which means that getting up in the middle of the night for an older person, when you get up, you can fall, you can break your hip, you can have a fracture, which then results in an extra burden on the health service. So this condition is actually a big problem, and it costs that are associated with this condition are similar to what you will see with diabetes and cardiovascular problems. So it's not a small problem, and what we want to find out is what is causing overactive bladder. Now, so if you want to see how big the problem is, 10% of the people worldwide actually suffer from OAB, and is associated with substantial economic and human burden. And as I said, as the age increases in both men and women, the incidence or the prevalence of overactive bladder also increases. So something to look forward to as we get older. And now people think, why do we get overactive bladder? Okay? If you think your bladders and pretend that they're like a football, okay? So pretend your bladders are a football, and as they fill up, okay, as the urine enters your bladder starts to twitch, okay? That twitching of your bladder tells your brain that your bladder is getting full, okay? And at a certain volume, the twitching becomes really enhanced, okay? So it becomes really big. So your bladder is contracting quite a lot. And these contractions and these twitches we call spontaneous contractions. Now, do you know at what volume you really need to go to the toilet? About what volume of urine you need in your bladder to actually want to go to the toilet? Any ideas? Give me a volume. 100, 200, 300, 400? 400 mils of urine is where you start sensing and you need to go to the toilet, okay? 400. Now, with people who got overactive bladder, okay, this twitching and these contractions happen when your bladder isn't even full. So that your bladder is telling your brain, you need to go to the toilet, your bladder is full, but it's not. It's tricking your brain. So these twitches are the responsible cause of overactive bladder. And what we want to find out is what causes these spontaneous contractions or twitches of the bladder. Okay? The reason we want to know is because the current treatments for overactive bladder are not great. So we use antimuscarinic drugs which have a lot of side effects. So they give people dry mouth, constipation, blurred vision, and that's why we need novel drugs to treat this condition. And that's where my research comes in. So within our lab, if you're wondering what that is a pig bladder, okay, that has been isolated from a pig as a whole with all the vessels intact. So as you would do for organ transplants, so for example, if someone wants to do a kidney transplant, they take the kidney out with all the vasculature intact. We do the same with the pig bladder. We'll bring it out with all the vessels intact, bring it to the lab, and we'll put it in a bespoke organ bath where we can perfuse it to keep it alive for hours. We can keep this bladder alive for 24 hours, and then we do experiments on it. Okay? So this is not a chicken. I promise you that's not a chicken there. That is a bladder, a pig bladder that is being connected to a perfusion line and also some catheters going inside to allow us to monitor the movement and the pressure changes of that bladder. Now, why you think we use pig? The reason we use pigs is because they have a very similar bladder structure to humans. Okay? And they're also, believe it or not, pigs are social voiders. So they don't just urinate anywhere, they go in a corner and they have a special spot where they do a wee. So that's why we use pigs as a model. So that's what we do. We try to investigate the integrative pharmacology and physiology of the pig bladder. My students, this is actually one of IU students that came to us at level 3, and she did her project with me using organ baths, where we use strips of pig bladder in an organ bath setup to investigate the contractility of bladders. And this is what you would find in a pharmaceutical company if you were working in R&D department, trying to figure out what drugs act and what drugs do on tissue. Okay, so this is actually the setup that you would use in a pharmaceutical company. And you can see students dissecting bladders and using the organ baths to investigate the contractility of the bladder. So, in addition to that, I also do research on long-term effects of COVID on bladder function, because we don't know how long-term COVID is going to affect different organs. So I've just got a grant to look at the long-term effects of COVID on lower urinary tract dysfunction. We, as a center, collaborate with a lot of partners. So these are some examples of international, national, and companies that work with us and support us in terms of our research. Okay, and these are just a few companies and places that work with us. So how do we get our students involved in our research? Okay, how we do it is that we, our students at level 3, so the final year, they come and do a project with us, with our academic staff, to get their hands dirty, to play with expensive toys, and they do either a lab-based project or a desk-based project, and that's how they get involved in research. We also offer students who come who do biomedical sciences or any of our programs at undergraduate level to do a 1-year placement. So within their, after finishing their 2nd year, they have an option to take a year out and go and do placement in a company, in a lab, in anywhere they want, to literally get a feel for how it is like to do real-world research. And I'm not going to bore you too much, but these are some of the students that have gone abroad to do research and do placements abroad. And we also ask our students who have graduated to come back and present their work. And we also offer an employability event where students see the future employers and get to speak to alumni, to the students that have graduated, in order to get a feel for what it's like to, when they graduate and move on to the job market. Okay, and this is one of our graduates, for example, who had finished her PhD, her undergraduate, and then is now working as a space scientist in the European Space Agency. Okay, and then once the students have finished, as I said, as well as the postgraduate degrees, there are many other opportunities for our students. A lot of them go to medical research. They do a master's in business and they can work in finance. There's a lot of opportunities for students after doing science programs in terms of jobs. And that's it from me. Thank you so much for inviting me. I hope you enjoyed the talk. Sorry it was a bit different to the other talks that the professors have presented. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Bahareh. You gave the very general picture about the educations and research in the field of the bioscience, applied biomedical science in your university. I think we can get the information that you can get. Plus, I'm looking in the very excellent equipment and also a very excellent environment. environment for our students. So we try to do our best and to give the student in the 4+0 program. We have the same condition with the university. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, and you will leave now because you have all the appointment, right? So now I would like to say thank you very much, and you cannot attend at the end of the meeting. So please do that. I would like to send the flower to and contact you to the Dr. Bahareh. Please.
It was.